Welcome back. This is a Fox News alert. Health officials in New York are waiting for test results. This after 75 students at a Queens high school got sick with flu-like symptoms. They're trying to rule out swine flu. An outbreak of swine flu has killed dozens in Mexico, some say up to 60, and at least 8 people in Texas and California have gotten sick. This type of swine flu has not previously been seen in pigs or humans. The World Health Organization says it appears to be spread from human to human.
Let's bring back Dr. Mike to talk about this scary strain of flu. This terrifies me, the fact that New York City students may have been exposed to this. How can you tell the regular flu versus the swine flu?
Well, you have to test the patient and make sure that they don't have that particular strain, and it's not just an average flu that's out there. When you talk about things like this, you talk about a pandemic. This is a new strain. You know, everything on the planet wants to live and survive, so viruses will mutate, they'll change, and the thing that's a little concerning is that there is spread from human to human. Now, in Mexico, we're seeing a significant amount of people dying. Right. And what happens is, and what's going on is there's a fairly significant upper respiratory infection, like pneumonia, going on.
Why are they dying in Mexico and 8 people are getting sick and we're able to be treated in the United States? What's the difference?
Well, that's the million-dollar question right now. We don't know. The CDC is all over this, I can tell you right now.
The new cases bring the cumulative total of those infected to 33, including 16 who have died since the outbreak of Ebola virus.
The N1 virus has made thousands of people across the country sick. Many have died, and some worrying that it could grow into a full-blown pandemic. Well, one state, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, is preparing for that with a very controversial bill. Massachusetts proposing legislation that would allow police to forcefully quarantine residents and even impose martial law without a warrant.
That deadly outbreak of meningitis, the result of those steroid shots to the spine for patients seeking relief from back pain. Now, new cases have been reported, bringing the total to more than 200.
All right, 'tis the season for a violent virus. It's called the norovirus, N-O-R-O, a very serious illness affecting the stomach. It's highly contagious, especially dangerous for children and the elderly, and it's starting to make its way across the country. Fox.
Well, this swine flu virus has reportedly killed more than 150 people so far in Mexico.
But now to what could be a major development on Lyme disease, an issue we've been following for months. A man has died from a closely related disease he caught from a tick. As Claire Brady reports, the tragedy is putting more pressure on health authorities to recognise they have a big health issue on their hands.
It's a new infection. It is a big deal. There's a new infection in Australia, and I think we need to understand more about it.
It's a new infection closely linked to Lyme disease, which health authorities around Australia refuse to recognise is even here.
People can have it in their blood and not know about it, to a mild flu-like illness, so they've got fevers, cough, muscle aches and pains, but not be too unwell. But at the other extreme, they can become anemic, where their blood cells get destroyed, their platelets in their blood get destroyed, and multiple organs can go into failure and people can die. The discovery of this infection doesn't necessarily mean there is Lyme disease in Australia. Having said that, if you asked me a year ago if there was babesiosis in Australia, I would have said not to my knowledge. And given that both those infections, babesiosis and Lyme disease, are new, anything's possible.
This graph shows the deceased man certainly wasn't alone in his fight against the parasite. Of 108 Australians who independently had their blood tested overseas for Lyme disease, half also tested positive for babesiosis. Some believe it's the tip of the iceberg.
Now, Mayor Rawlings, you declared a state of emergency today in Dallas. What does that declaration enable you to do?
Well, it hopefully takes action to deal with one of a serious issue we've got here with the West Nile virus.
But it's not just Texas that's been affected. Unusually high rates of the West Nile virus are being reported across the United States. Andy Gallagher, Al Jazeera.
So it's like 17 minutes to the hour. One big city is now fighting against a deadly virus, the West Nile virus, and it's been a long while. Mayor of Big D, Dallas, Texas, has declared a state of emergency, and he's given the okay for crews to start spraying insecticide from the air for the first time in 50 years, almost.
The story health authorities don't want you to know about a growing danger to humans in our backyards, a disease that eats into the human brain. It was very rare. In the past 50 years, there have been fewer than 10 severe cases recorded Australia-wide, but that all changed earlier this year. Dr. John Darcy has our investigation.
The Public Health Department didn't want you to talk about this.
They were concerned that it would create fear in the community.
They didn't want to create public panic.
The disease is out there.
One of the most frightening parasites on the planet is on the move. Rats infected with rat lungworms have spread from Queensland to New South Wales and are now moving further south. There are few diseases more terrifying than rat lungworm. The worm's larvae are passed on through rat droppings, which are devoured by snails and slugs, who can then spread the contamination to humans through their slime, say on a lettuce leaf, or if they're eaten. Once ingested, the larvae find their way into spinal fluid and then to the brain, where they hatch into needle-like worms and begin burrowing.